Alright, hey guys, I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. I created a student page on Edmodo so that I can see exactly what you guys see and so that I can help you guys kind of try to figure this all out. So I am only attached to the research class right now. So I clicked my little research class posts and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find my museum project stuff. Scrolled a little far. So this is our museum project overview. It is not an actual assignment, it's just the overview. I just needed a due date. So let's make this a little smaller so that it's easier to see. So this is the whole overview for the entire project. If you have not read this and you are trying to start your week 1 assignment, you are going to struggle. But it's 7 weeks. It's going to be completely digital. It's going to have a PowerPoint or a Prezi plus a little booklet. Your museum must have a formal name, a floor plan, a few exhibits, 5 exactly, and each exhibit has to have all of these little details. Your exhibits are going to be from this list. These are the units that we learned in school together, and they all have to be chronological, so you can't choose, Reconstruction era and World War I and World War II. They have to be in order, so like Civil War through Progressive Era or World War I through Cold War. Each exhibit is going to have at least 7 artifacts that talk about the important events during each era. The artifacts must be primary sources. Obviously, it's going to be images or videos of primary sources if that's how you want to go. Excuse me, but it's all going to be digital. So what you guys can do is you can go back to your Khan Academy assignments from March 30th to kind of remind yourself what a secondary and a primary source are. So let's do that real quick. I'm not going to create a student account because it's just a waste of time right now. You guys know Khan Academy. But up here in the left corner it says courses. I'm going to go to US History over here. And then the very first unit is going to teach you guys how to think like a historian. So we're going to click Thinking Like a Historian. And these are the different videos that I actually assigned to you. So you can click on them, you can refresh yourself, watch them. You can click next video, and there's that source identification video. Or you can go back, you can X out, and there's the actual link for the source identification. You can also refresh on how to analyze a historical document and kind of figure out why it's important, what it's actually saying, all that stuff. So this is the little section that's going to help you guys with figuring out which artifacts you want to use. So let's go back. So this is the artifact overview. I'll go into more detail of this later because we're not really too concerned about it right now, but eventually you do need to have little descriptions or explanations for each artifact. These are known as placards, or they're basically just like little captions. So I'm going to show you guys an example. Obviously, it's not going to be the best example online if you've never been to a museum. So I'm going to scroll down here and find an artifact. So this is a good artifact. This is an actual advertisement for the sale of slaves. That's the artifact. It is a primary source. It's actually from that time period, and this is the placard. It's explaining what this artifact is and why it's important. And then the last thing that you guys are going to do for this project is an informational booklet, but we're not going to worry about that right now because we're breaking this down week by week, okay? So these are your weekly assignments. All of your assignments are going to be due on Fridays. The only week that it is not due on Friday is this week. So you're just now getting this. So it is not going to be due until this Sunday. So this is all you're worrying about right now, is choosing your 5 eras, making a floor plan, and making some timelines, okay? You can also, I recommend starting to think about how to include artifacts, what artifacts you want for your exhibits, but that part is not due yet, okay? And I'm going to go into more detail on how to actually do this week 1 assignment. Week 2 through 7, it's all here, but I don't want you guys worrying about this because it's very overwhelming, and I get that. So we are only concerned about week 1 right now. So let's look at week 1. So I'm going to go back to Edmodo. Well, first, project overview. If you have not read this, you need to. Don't ask me anything unless you've read this entire thing, all right? So now, let's go back to Edmodo and scroll. This is just where your overview is going to be. So we're going to scroll up to the Research Museum Project Week 1. So Arthur, hopefully this is going to help you a little bit with your questions. Same with you, Annabella. So just make sure that you watch this whole video. And again, before you come anywhere near Research Museum Project Week 1, read the overview, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose your 5 eras that you want to use in your museum, and you're going to create a floor plan and a timeline. So let's click on this document, or you can click open. Oh, this is where you will submit your work, but we'll come to that later. So you're going to click Museum Assignment Week 1 Student, and this is actually going to open, most likely, you may not have this little notification. Most likely it's going to open like this in an actual browser. I recommend, and what I'm going to do right now, is to download it. You can work right on the browser if you know how to do that, but I'm going to download it. And this little notification is just because I'm on a Mac and that's how it works. So let me open my downloaded copy. All right, so this is week 1. So you're going to choose your 5 eras that you want in your museum. This is all going to be due this Sunday by 11:59, okay? So first you need to download this document. We've already done that. And now we're going to insert our choices below. But please make sure that your timeline is your own. You cannot copy and paste from the internet. It will be an automatic F. Also, you could edit portions of this for your final submission at the end of the year, okay? So also make sure that you type your full name so that you can make sure that you have the credit. I'm going to be Han Solo Greenup because my dog is right next to me. So here you're going to type in which eras you want to use. Remember, these must be chronological. It can't go, oh, I'm going to use Civil War, and then I'm going to use World War II, and then I'm going to use Vietnam, and then I'm going to use Reconstruction. They all have to be 5 together, okay? So let me go and open up the sample, which is also on Edmodo. I believe I posted it as a comment. So this is the sample. So I'm just going to copy these eras just to make my life easier while I'm doing this. Fun fact, you can't use any of these samples that I'm going to make because we didn't study this stuff. Even Westward expansion, we're only doing pre-Civil War. So this is the map that I made, and I'm going to show you guys how I did this. It might look a little complicated, but I promise you it's not. So let's go back to what we are working on. So let me put my eras here. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my museum map. I'm recording this over the video, guys, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm going to make it a square. I'm going to make it a no-fill shape and an outline of black, just so that anything that I type or put in there, I will be able to see it. All right, so now I need to create my first era museum section, right? So here we go. Now I'm gonna copy and paste these so that it's easier for me. This is where you are going to type in your eras, okay? So my first thing that I'm gonna do for my museum map, and we'll get to the PowerPoint part later if you wanna do that, is I'm going to create a museum entrance, and I'm just going to put a line in here. It's going to be dark blue, and it's going to be a thicker line so that you can see it. So I'm going to go to shape format, I'm going to make it blue, and then I'm going to make the weight bigger, just like that. So that's where my entrance is going to be, and to show that, I'm going to go to insert and to text box. I'm going to draw a text box right there. And I'm going to type in museum entrance because this is where the museum will be open. That's how you're going to get in. And I'm going to do the same thing as the other shape. I'm going to make this a no-fill box, and I'm also going to make it no outline so that there aren't random lines all over my project. So bam, museum entrance. That's where we're going to enter. Okay? So the next thing that I'm going to do is I need to figure out where each exhibit of the eras is going to go. So the first one is colonial. That's my first exhibit. So I'm going to insert, and I'm going to insert another shape. Still going to do a square because it's just easier. And I'm going to make it like this. You can leave it different colors if you want. I'm going to do the same thing, no fill. And I'm going to keep an outline this time, and I need to label it for my era. So same thing with the text box. I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm going to write out Exhibit 1, Colonial. Oh, I still have my line on this box. I'm going to fix that. So that's in shape format again. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do actually is another way that you can do these boxes is you just saw a box around the text box. So you can also just go ahead and insert a text box if you want, and you can just keep in shape format. You can just keep an outline, and that's totally up to you. That's absolutely fine. And then you can just type directly in this text box. Personally, I don't like doing it this way because you can see at the bottom it kind of got a little bit formatted weird. So I personally will not be doing text boxes. I don't understand why Word does this sometimes. I mean, technology, what do you want? So I'm just going to fix this real quick. Fix my little formatting. Make sure that everything is lined up because we're not going to have random little spaces in our museum. So that's a way that you can do the text box. And you can see the lines because those would be walls between the exhibits. Okay. So from now on, I'm actually going to insert shapes, the square shape, to make it, I just think that it's easier for me personally. So I'm going to insert another shape. No fill, outline, and then I'm going to insert a text box. And this is going to be Exhibit 3, Revolutionary War. Can't spell. And I'm just going to do another box for my next exhibits. And actually, I think I did this a little differently in my sample, but I wanted to show you guys how I actually did it, so I didn't want to copy and paste. But let's do some no fill again. Make sure that the outline is black. And insert another text box. And actually, I know that this isn't the same format as the other one. So give me a second. Let me check on that. All right, that's right. Okay, so that's how I had it. All right. So let me go back. Got to do a little bit of rearranging because I had a little lobby in here. Oh, my bad. Here's your little announcement. Calm down. Okay, so let me fix this a little bit. So we're going to insert or change the shape a little bit of these different things in a minute here, but just so you know, you can actually copy and paste these shapes and just reshape them however you want. It's a little bit quicker. Same thing with the text box. You can copy and paste, and it's just Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. And I accidentally left these outlines again. And I'm actually going to have this exhibit, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to have this exhibit be Exhibit 5, the Westward expansion. I think that's how I want my museum to flow. Make sure there's no outline. Bam. Okay. So I'm going to redo these shapes a little bit just to be a little bit more like the sample that you guys can see on the Edmodo site. It's not going to be perfect because I kind of threw that sample together last night. This one I'm going to make a little smaller. Oops, undo. Man, I did it again. Just so you guys know, you can go up here to undo if you accidentally make a mistake. So let me move this up. Let me make, oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna move Westward expansion just a little bit. And you know what, I'm gonna make this, there we go. Okay, actually, let me make Westward expansion a little longer and skinnier. I'm gonna make the Revolutionary War a little bit bigger because there's a lot of really cool stuff in the Revolutionary War that I would rather include and make it bigger than Westward expansion. No offense to you, MsMontz, but Westward expansion just is not as fun as the Revolutionary War. All right, and then I'm going to copy and paste this text box and make this area the lobby and ticket area. Obviously, when you walk into a museum, you've got to figure out what you're doing, where you're going, buy your tickets. Most museums you have to pay for. And then, because I'm extra, I'm going to copy this shape, and I am actually going to make not another exhibit, but who doesn't love to go shopping? So this is going to be my gift shop because that's the best part about going to a museum is buying presents, fun stuff. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I need to figure out the flow and how we're going to get out, right? So how are we going to get out of, oh, this is just another way that you can copy and paste if you don't know the shortcuts on your keyboard, okay? So now I'm going to create a new little blue line and museum box because we got to get out of the museum, right? Nobody wants to enter and exit through the same way. There's got to be a flow so that traffic doesn't get jammed up. I'm going to turn this a little, I'm going to turn this text box, and then I'm going to edit it to say exit. Man, why does it keep doing that? So I'm going to edit this to say museum exit. And then I'm going to copy this little blue line. It's going to be hard to grab. Hang on. There we go. Copy and paste. So Control-C and Control-V, or if you're on a Mac, it's Command-C and Command-V. And this is where we're going to exit my museum out of the gift shop. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out how this is all going to flow. So I'm going to insert some arrows. So obviously we're going to enter the museum here, get our tickets, get our info, and then we're going to enter Exhibit 1, the colonial era. And from the colonial era, I'm going to go back to Insert, Shape, Arrow. And we're going to go into pre-revolution because that's chronologically making sense. And we're going to do the same thing. I don't know why I keep clicking layout. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to keep doing the same thing with these arrows and send our visitors through our American History Museum in a chronological way. This is not necessarily the exact place that the doors would be in a real museum. So don't worry about that, because obviously these two doors over here would not be right next to each other. But I can edit that later. And then we would go to the gift shop, we would do our shopping in here, and then we would exit. Okay? So that's how you can make a map in Word. It's just a bunch of boxes. That's annoying, sorry guys. Yay, spam! Alright, so it's just a bunch of boxes. The little L-shaped box, don't worry about that unless you want to do it. So let's look at how we can do this in a PowerPoint slide. Let me find my PowerPoint slides. Clearly, I'm not very good at Macs. So let's open up PowerPoint. We're going to just open up a blank PowerPoint. Oh, look, all of y'all's PowerPoints for school. Okay, so I'm not 100% as confident in PowerPoint as I am in Word. Word is just very simple to me. But I would just do the same thing. You guys might know more. Let me get out of these designs. You guys might know more about PowerPoint and how to make it fun, but I would just do the same thing, insert shapes. No, I don't want to rate you. Insert shapes and basically do the same thing as what I did in Word. Maybe I'll make these different colors so that, you know, the different exhibits are different colors. That's kind of fun. So you can see the different sections. And oh no, we can't make that orange. Absolutely not. We are not gators in here. We're just going to go with red for American history. So yeah, so you could do it this way. You can, you know, just keep inserting little shapes and insert your arrows same way. Okay? But that's up to you. You don't have to do your map through PowerPoint, but eventually everything will be put in PowerPoint or Prezi, which I will do another video on Prezi another time. So let's go back to the next section. So we've got our arrows and we've got our map. So now we need to do our timelines. So this is where you're going to put your timelines, or you can put it here. You can do a new slide in PowerPoint, make your timeline there. It's totally up to you. I did mine in Word in the little sample, so I'm going to put some arrow lines here, which is just an insert shape, and then I'm going to do insert text box, and these are all the super important events in that time period. Okay, same thing, I'm going to do no fill so that I know that I'll be able to see my timeline. So the very first super important thing in the colonial era was when Jamestown was founded in 1607. So that's our very first event. All right, and as you can see down here, this is what it's all going to look like. I did them different colors every other so that you can see easily the different events themselves. And this is a massive timeline. This is the, you know, the overall, oh, sorry, again, don't want you to be overwhelmed. That timeline is the overall super important events from the colonial era. Your timelines may be massive like that, and some of them may not, and that is absolutely okay. All right? So what you are not allowed to do, you have to do this all by yourself. I literally wrote out all of these, okay? So what you cannot do is you cannot go to Google, right? So let's go to Google. Obviously, this is research class. You're going to do a lot of research. But what you cannot do is go to Google and ask for a timeline for whatever era you are doing. And then go to images and find a timeline that you like. So let's see. I don't like that. That's Spanish exploration. Let's go back. That's an assignment. Okay. Let's see. Let's just do this one. Okay. So this one's pretty cool looking. I'm going to save the image to my downloads. I just right-clicked and saved the image. And then we're going to go back to my assignment. And I'm going to insert picture from file. So these are my files. So I'm going to go to my folder where it's downloaded. And I'm going to insert my picture. Okay, so this, oh, it disappeared. Hold up. Maybe it scrolled down, up. Where'd it go? I might need to do this again. See, I'm not as tech savvy as y'all think. Ah, there it is. Okay. This is going to earn you a very massive, beautiful F. There is absolutely no way that you will get a grade for this. Make your own timelines. I did. Miss Montz and I are doing these projects with you pretty much because we've never done them and we want you to have samples. So do not go to the internet and copy, okay? You can obviously do some research, but that will be unacceptable, okay? So you're gonna go, you're gonna do your own timelines here. They don't need to be super detailed. If you look at my sample, they are just dates and event titles, okay? If you want to do this in PowerPoint, if it were me, I would probably do it this way. I would just, you know, make each era its own timeline and just do the arrow timeline the same exact way and just kind of do it in here. Insert text box, yay, woo! So that's just another way that you can do it. Again, I would probably just do each era its own separate slide. Oops, new slide. Era 2, which was, what was era 2? Pre-revolution. So this is another way, again, eventually every single thing will be put into PowerPoint or Prezi. So if you want to go ahead and do everything on PowerPoint so you don't have to redo it later, that's fine. Later in this, let me erase this box. There we go. So then you guys can do the text box and do your events. So later in the project, I'm going to show you guys how you can basically take what you put in Word and put it into a PowerPoint. Okay? Now, once you're done with all of this, you have to somehow upload it, right? So let's look here. Scroll in a little bit. Scroll up. Okay, so we've done my 5 eras. We've created a simple museum floor plan and a timeline for each of the chosen eras. My timeline is an F in this video. So now we're going to go to Save As, and you're going to name it your first and last name, and you're going to name it Week 1. So Bobby Brown, Week 1, Han Solo Greenup, Week 1. And I'm going to save it to my desktop because it's easier to find, and I'm going to click Save. Then I'm going to go back to my Edmodo as a student, and I'm going to click here, Attach. So this, remember, was when we clicked on the assignment, and I'm going to attach a file from my computer. There's my Week 1 assignment. I'm going to choose that. And if you did the PowerPoint as well, oh, I didn't save that, hang on. If you want to do the PowerPoint as well, same thing, click File, Save As. Make sure that it's saved as your first and last name, Week 1. It should be able to be the same title because they're different file formats, but you can put PPT and save it to your desktop just to be safe. That's fine. And then we'll go back to Edmodo. We'll attach my PowerPoint, file from the computer. There we go. Bam. And then I'm going to click Turn in Assignment. Are you sure? Yes. Yay! All done. So now you can see that you've turned in your assignment. I may ask you to make some edits for your final version, but then as your teacher, I can go to research. Where is it? There we go. And I can see that somebody submitted their assignment. And then, oh wow, look, Han Solo Greenup. Let me look at this. And I can download your documents. All right, and then I will grade it. All right, guys, good luck. Let me know if you need anything.